Recent disclosures from extensive US Department of Justice files have depicted Sarah Ferguson, the former Duchess of York, and her ex-husband, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, in an unfavorable light, characterizing them as self-serving individuals aware of Jeffrey Epstein's activities. These comprehensive documents have reportedly dismantled the carefully rebuilt public image of Sarah Ferguson, leading significant repercussions across her professional and personal life. Charities have ended their associations, her most recent literary endeavor has been withdrawn from publication, and her primary residence is no longer available her, all while she reportedly contemplates a return public life from the United Arab Emirates. The challenges for the former Duchess intensified in late 2025 following the enactment of the Epstein Files Transparency Act on November 19th. This legislation, which garnered overwhelming support, with a 427-1 vote in the House of Representatives and unanimous Senate approval, mandated the Department of Justice release its complete records concerning Jeffrey Epstein, who died in custody in 2019 while facing sex offense allegations. The released files indicated a sustained relationship between Ferguson and Epstein, with a considerable volume of communication occurring after his conviction on serious charges. The initial segment of these documents became public in December 2025, with a more substantial release occurring on January 30th, 2026. This extensive release included over 3 million pages of documents, more than 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images, all made accessible online. The materials were compiled from various legal proceedings, including the Florida and New York cases against Epstein, the prosecution of Ghislaine Maxwell, FBI investigations, and the inquiry in Epstein's death. Within this vast collection of data, emails emerged that subsequently proved highly damaging Sarah Ferguson. These correspondences revealed a depth of association far exceeding what Ferguson had previously acknowledged publicly. Ferguson had previously admitted borrowing $15,000 from Epstein, describing the transaction as a significant error in judgment. However, the newly released emails presented a considerably different narrative regarding their connection. One message attributed Ferguson referred Epstein as the brother I have always wished for, while another designated him a supreme friend. In a separate exchange, she reportedly wrote, "You are a legend." Perhaps the most striking communication, dated January 2010, contained the phrase, "I am at your service, just marry me." Epstein was characterized as an enigmatic figure possessing a unique ability, attract and retain individuals of wealth, influence, and royal status, often by accumulating compromising information on them. Requests for employment also surfaced within the documents. In May 2010, while Epstein was under house arrest in Florida, Ferguson allegedly inquired why he had not considered hiring her as his house assistant, emphasizing her capabilities and urgent need for funds. Mars conveyed a sense of desperation, marked with the phrase urgent, urgent, urgent. Furthermore, funding requests were identified, including one instance where Ferguson reportedly sought $20,000 immediately for rent, stating that her landlord had threatened contact the press if payment was not made that very day. The business venture, Mother's Army, raised the most significant concerns among the revelations. Ferguson reportedly began developing this brand in 2009, intending to provide a platform for mothers globally. The business plan, as detailed in the released documents, indicated that Epstein was hold a 51% equity stake, positioning him as the majority owner. Ferguson was slated to receive a $250,000 salary, funded through prospective book deals, involvement in children's television projects, and speaking engagements. These discussions and arrangements transpired after Epstein's 2008 conviction for child sex offenses. Travel records contained within the documents also detailed Ferguson's journey to the United States with her daughters, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, in July 2009. This trip occurred less than a week after Epstein's release from prison. An email from an aide itemized the flight expenses, showing costs just under $5,000 for the princesses traveling in economy class and over $9,000 for Ferguson in business class. These details further underscored the continued nature of the association during a period of intense scrutiny surrounding Epstein. Representatives for Sarah Ferguson have contested the interpretation of these documents, asserting that Epstein's deceptions misled her. They maintain that she severed contact and publicly denounced him once she became fully aware of the extent of the allegations against him. The representatives further explained that Epstein subsequently threatened legal action against her for defamation, and the Supreme Friend email from 2011 was reportedly written in that specific context as an attempt to mitigate his legal threats. Some observers have suggested that emails between Ferguson and Epstein could imply romantic interest or even affection for the convicted fine fancier. Despite the comprehensive nature of the documents, Alan Howe noted in the Australian newspaper that being named in the Epstein files does not inherently imply wrongdoing, and no charges or accusations have ever been formally filed against Sarah Ferguson. Nevertheless, this distinction did not prevent immediate and significant consequences. Numerous charitable organisations began to disassociate themselves from Ferguson within days of the public revelations. The Teenage Cancer Trust announced its decision to end its relationship with her, and Julia's House, a children's hospice, followed suit, stating that her continued involvement would be inappropriate. Nadim and Tanya Ednan Laperouse, founders of the Natasha Allergy Research Foundation, expressed their distress upon reviewing her correspondence with Epstein. The British Heart Foundation, Prevent Breast Cancer, and the Children's Literacy Charity also terminated their ties, resulting in at least 5 charities severing connections on a single day. Subsequently, Sarah's Trust, a charity established by Ferguson herself in 2020, announced its closure for the foreseeable future. Although a spokesperson for Sarah's Trust indicated that this decision had been under consideration for several months, the timing of the announcement coincided directly with the unfolding events. The publishing industry delivered another setback with the cancellation of her new children's book, Flora and Fern Kindness, along the way. Initially slated for an October release and later postponed November, the book was ultimately withdrawn entirely. A publishing insider reportedly informed the Daily Mail that the book was not merely delayed but being pulped, acknowledging the commercial impracticality of its release, as consumer interest was anticipated, being non-existent. An estimated 10,000 copies were reportedly sent for recycling, and all planned book signings and promotional talks were simultaneously cancelled. These developments unfolded against the backdrop of King Charles's decision strip Prince Andrew of all his remaining titles on October 30th. The book's publication was originally scheduled for October 30th, 2025. Prince Andrew is now known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and was ordered to relinquish his lease on Royal Lodge, the 30-room mansion where he and Ferguson had resided for nearly 2 decades, despite their divorce in 1996. Andrew acquired the lease in 2003 for $1 million and committed to spending $7.5 million on refurbishments, yet he had subsequently paid only a nominal peppercorn rent of approximately $1 per year. The removal of a British prince's title is an almost unprecedented event, with the last such occurrence recorded in 1919. Consequently, Ferguson now requires alternative accommodation. Sources indicate she will not be joining Andrew at his new residence on the Sandringham estate. One insider reportedly told the press that while she had consistently supported him over the years, she is now prepared to pursue her own path. Her representative confirmed that she is currently evaluating various options, with no definitive decision reached. Reports suggest that Princess Eugenie's home in Portugal could serve as a temporary lodging solution. While Ferguson seeks a permanent residence in the Windsor area, she has temporarily departed the United Kingdom. Her itinerary included time in the French Alps with friends before relocating the United Arab Emirates, where she met Princess Eugenie, who was attending an art fair in Doha in her capacity as a director at Hauserworth Gallery. Sources describe Ferguson as taking time to compose herself and seeking a new public relations team. According to reports, Ferguson has informed friends that she needs to resume working due financial necessity. She has also reportedly stated that upon her return she intends to establish a greater distance between herself and Andrew. Despite Ferguson's reported intentions, experts expressed deep skepticism regarding any potential public comeback. Jenny Bond, a former BBC royal correspondent, stated that if Ferguson believes she can orchestrate a return to public life, her level of self-delusion is greater than previously imagined. PR expert Renee Smith informed The Express that reinvention efforts are only successful when the public is receptive, which currently appears not to be the case. While past controversies have not prevented Ferguson from returning royal events and public gatherings, including Christmas at Sandringham, the current landscape presents distinct challenges. With charities having withdrawn support, her book cancelled, her home lost, and extensive emails now permanently part of the public record, the feasibility of another successful comeback remains an unanswered question for observers of British public life.